This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, flying solo today here on The Ramsey Show. We're here to help you with your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Before I jump in with the callers, I want to put a call out. The third hour, we're going to spend the entire hour talking about one of the scummiest, most horrible industries in America today. They rip people off. They mistreat their customers like no other. Timeshares. There's 60 people in the lobby watching my show right now, and when I said that, all of them nodded. Because we all know. And yet, you still go to their presentation to get a free night at the beach. That's like going into the tiger cage after the tiger hasn't eaten for 3 weeks, because there's nothing greedier than a timeshare salesman. You go into the tiger cage, and you have to pet the tiger for 2 hours and not get eaten in order to get a free pass at the zoo. Here's an idea. Avoid the zoo, avoid the tiger. Neither one of these are going to be good for you if this is the only way you can get to go to the zoo. Or just pay the bill to go to the zoo. That's called buying a freaking hotel room. Instead of getting yourself ripped off after you had a 6-hour presentation where they would not let you out of the tiger cage until you got screwed. See, now I'm about to do the whole show, this segment, and I'm not supposed to do that. Anyway, if you've been ripped off by timeshares, you have an inside information on timeshares, which is like everybody in America, apparently. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, and they have officially pissed me off now. They have officially pissed me off. And so we're going to go to war, Mikey. Hope you're ready, Bubba. That's the president of Diamond. His name's Mikey. His actual name's Mike. I call him Mikey. We've been having a little discussion on Twitter about what a freaking crook he is. And so these guys have got to stop this. And you people have to put them out of business by quit working with them. So we're going to do a little discussion about the timeshare business until they go to their knees. Because I'm going to turn 22 million of you people loose on them. Because they have been screwing people long enough and getting away with it because of their financial muscle, and they try to squash anybody, and they've been coming at me, and that was a dadgum mistake. It was a dadgum mistake. Bought and paid for crap. So, here we go, boys and girls. If you have a thing, call in, and the phone number is 888-825-5225, or email us at daveonair@ramseysolutions.com, and you can be part of this third hour. And we're going to have a party. A timeshare screw you party. That's what we're having. It's time for them to quit screwing you people, and we're going to bring it up and talk about it in detail. It is unbelievable how scummy this business is and how nasty bad the executives in these companies are. Their personal lives, oh my God, filth, trash, and nastiness. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves, the way you people behave. And it's no wonder, because it shows up in your product that you have no character. That's how it works. So, game on, boys. Here we go. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Bud's going to start us off this hour in Boston. Hey, Bud, how are you?
I'm better than I deserve, I hope. Dave, I'm really hoping that you can help me out with a situation that is actually making me physically ill.
Oh, my goodness.
I want to preface this by saying that I absolutely adore my family, and I'm trying to do my best by my dad, but my brother and I get along best when there's a state line between us. My wife and I have a small lake house that's been in our family since the 1960s. We've been renting it out for the last several years, but it doesn't generate enough income to offset the mortgage and expenses. But it's been better than just having it sit there unused.
How did it end up? How did it end up that you own it if it's been in the family?
My grandparents bought it in 1962 when the first grandchild was born. My parents bought it from them when my grandfather passed away. My parents were going to put it out on the open market, and I was trying to keep it in the family. So my wife and I bought it from them.
Okay.
We've been talking over the last couple of years about selling it. And unfortunately, circumstances changed a little bit last year in that my father, who built the cabin that's on the property, passed away last August.
Oh.
And I'm now finding myself under increasing pressure from my mother and my brother to sell it to him for substantially less than market value. And they want me to allow him to lease to own it, both of which to my detriment due to capital gains and not being able to get out of the mortgage. My mom is struggling with letting it go, even though it hasn't belonged to her directly since 2005, and she doesn't use it. I need to get out of the mortgage because I promised my dad I would take care of her. And not owing that debt, I can assist my mom financially for the remainder of her life. COVID took away her small job. She's living on Social Security.
How old
Dad's
is she?
illness cracked, and she's 78.
Okay.
And Dad, his illness.
And your brother doesn't have any
scrambled
money,
and cooked
obviously. He's broke.
My brother is a spendthrift. He lives in a mobile home. He has a fifth wheel camper that he owes on.
And he does not need a lake house. Okay.
No, and he is also retired on.
So what's
early on
making you
disability.
physically ill is that these people who have absolutely no rights to this property whatsoever are trying to dictate to you what you do with this property, and everything that they dictate to you is against good wisdom for them or for you. Because were your brother to buy this, he can't afford it. It would not be a blessing to him.
Right.
And if he leases it from you and he doesn't pay the lease payments, now we know we've got a future problem. Duh.
Right.
So really, you already know what you have to do, but it's just the broken. It's just that everybody's going to be pissed off when you do it.
Yes, and that's it. No matter what I do, I lose because I don't want to alienate my mother for the last few years of her life. If I don't put it on the open market and get fair market value for it, my wife will be unhappy with me. And no matter what. No.
Okay. The first thing we got to do is the principle is what is the best thing to do with this property for your brother? What is the best thing to do with this property for your mother? What is the best thing to do with this property for your wife? What is the best thing to do with this property for you? The answer is the same to all of those questions. Whether they get it or not. I'm not trying to please your wife. I'm not trying to please your mother. I'm trying to say on principle, I want to do the right thing. Because the best thing for your mom is for you to get in financial condition so you can help her. The best thing for your brother is for him to not to continue to over-obligate himself. The best thing for you is to get out of this thing. Dude, you got to sell this. Now, is somebody going to be pissed off? Probably. I don't think we're going to be able to stop that from happening. But that's not up to you. That's up to them. You don't need to be nasty or mean. You just say, gosh, I'm so sorry. Honey, if I sold you this thing, you wouldn't be able to pay the payments and it would not be a blessing to you. I know it breaks your heart when it leaves. It breaks my heart when it leaves. Mama, I'm so sorry I can't take your other son who's an enabler and as codependent as he can be and take care of him. I can't do it. And you know, this is what's best for everyone involved. I'm going to be the grown-up in the room. And then if you guys want to have a little temper fit in the corner, you're going to have to. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Well, we just came back from Dallas. Our EntreLeadership Summit event was off the chain. George W. Bush was a stand-up comic. He was absolutely so fun, so smart, so compassionate, and so, funny. He's painting now, if you didn't know. And we were talking when he came off, and I told him, I said, Mr. President, that painting stuff doesn't work out. I think you can do the stand-up comedy. That was funny. And so he kept the audience in stitches. He's a lot of fun. It was a great event. We had some world-class speakers and teachers on business. The EntreLeadership Summit is for small business owners and leaders, and you come and learn how to lead your business, run your business better. It was incredible. I'm exhausted. It was 3 16-hour days, back to back, everything in the world. We were running and gunning. I did sessions on two days and a small one to close a small talk to close the event out. And it was so emotionally draining because it was so good. You know, when you're laughing really hard, you're crying occasionally, and you're jacked up and pumped up, it just takes it out of you. So, hey, we're doing it again. We're going to be in Orlando next year, May 22nd through the 25th. We've now launched Entre Summit for sale. We put it on sale when we were there in Dallas last week. And it is not quite sold out yet. We almost sold it out while we were in Dallas. But there'll be about 3,000 of us in Orlando. May 22nd through the 25th of 2022. Pat Lencioni will be back with us speaking. Dr. Henry Cloud, Jade Simmons, who's a classic concert pianist and wonderful speaker. My friend Will Guidara. I always say his name wrong. He's my friend, but I do say his name wrong. He started and ran for years the #1 restaurant in the world. Very interesting story. Jay Leno will be with us. Jamie Kern Lima, who started IT Cosmetics and one of the youngest female billionaires, sold it and cashed out. Dr. John Deloney will be speaking. Christy Wright will be speaking. Ken Coleman will be speaking. If you're a business owner or a senior leader and you want to be in the room, you'll learn more and get connected to more EntreLeaders than you can possibly imagine. The energy in the room was incredible. It will be incredible. It was the first time most of these folks have been in a group of people again. And so they were all acting like they were teenagers who snuck out the window at night, and like the adults were going to come in and stop us from doing it or something. It was so fun. We had a blast. So if you're interested in the few tickets that are remaining, just text SUMMIT to 44222. SUMMIT to 44222. This will be an off-the-chain event. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com, a wonderful company I'm so proud to endorse and have for many years. Find out for yourself why they are the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. And it's not just because Dave Ramsey endorses them. It's because they do a great job. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every time, you can save more. Always use the promo code It's Magic Ramsey. Today's question is from Tracy in Alabama. I have a rental property for which I'm currently holding a mortgage. I've been debating on refinancing. You're not holding a mortgage, you owe a mortgage. Okay. I've been debating on refinancing so I can get rid of PMI. That's good. I've read about a cash out refinance, and it seems there are some benefits that go along with that. Is that a good idea? Well, Tracy, this is the Dave Ramsey Show where we talk about getting out of debt, not into more debt, because that is the shortest path between where you are and wealth. Cash out means you're going to borrow more than you currently owe. You're going the wrong direction, Miss Tracy. And so, no, you need to refinance it and get rid of the PMI, or maybe you need to sell it. If you need some cash, maybe you're too broke to be a landlord. That's a possibility too. Real estate is only a blessing when it makes money. Well, I rent it for $750 and my payment is $650. You are losing money, darling. I know it sounds like $100 profit, but it's not in the real world when you count vacancy and credit loss, meaning they don't pay when they're supposed to. Oh, and by the way, that $3,500 heat and air went out, and you make $1,200 a year. It takes you 3 years to recoup that. You're not making money on $100 cash flow. You're losing money. This is a liability. It is not an asset. Your real estate is not a blessing. It's a curse. Sell it, if that's you. If you got a really nice, big, fat cash flow, then get the stinking thing paid off and quit asking me about borrowing more on it and going further in debt. That's going the wrong direction, kiddo. Don't do that. Sarah's with us in Boston. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to the Ramsey Show. What's up?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show today.
I'm honored to speak with you, ma'am. How can I help?
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I'm 27 years old. I do have a degree. I did have the luxury of my parents paying for that degree, and I do have. I don't have any debt.
Awesome.
So definitely a blessing. Yes.
Yeah.
I also have about $60,000 saved in my savings account.
Good for you.
Thank you. And I have a very good job, a very stable job. So my question for you is, I have actually not invested any of my money, so it's just kind of sitting in my bank account.
Mm-hmm.
That's including like anything for retirement. So pretty much no investment whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So my question for you, I guess I have two. So how do you suggest I start investing my money? Would it be with a portion of what I've already saved within that $60,000 range, or do you think I should start investing 15% of all future, paychecks? Because I know from your baby steps, 15% is what you recommend.
Yes, ma'am. What do you make?
So I make about $100,000 a year.
Good for you. Well done. What do you do for a living?
I work in software sales.
Good for you. Oh, you got a great future and a great career. Yeah, you're rocking it, kiddo. Excellent. Okay, so what I am going to do is just go back to those baby steps. Of that $60,000, we need to set aside 3 to 6 months of expenses in a separate account for your emergency fund. I'm going to pick a number and just call that 20 grand just for discussion purposes. You can decide what it is later, okay?
Okay.
But that's over there just for when it rains, and kiddo, it will rain someday. Okay?
Oh, I know it will.
Yeah, so we're going to set that aside. Say pandemic. Yeah, it can happen. I mean, things can happen. So we're going to set aside an emergency fund. Now I got $40,000, and then we answer your question with that, okay? We move on to baby step 4, which is 15% of your income going into retirement, which is $15,000 a year, and you're making $100 grand at 27. If you only do that the rest of your life and never get a raise, which would make you a loser, if you never get a raise in your whole life, you'd be a loser. Would you agree with that? Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So if you only invest $15,000 a year in good growth stock mutual funds in your 401k with a match or without a match in a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, you will have tens of millions of dollars when you get to 65.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So you're set if you just play through and don't screw this up and marry some guy who doesn't want to work or something, that kind of stuff, right? So you got this going on. I'm so proud of you. You're doing so good. Now, once we said that, then that leaves us 40 grand. Do we need that to become wealthy? No, we just established that we don't. And so I'm going to use that as your down payment on your first home, even if you're not ready to buy a home right now. We'll just keep piling it on there above the 15%. And we call that baby step 3B, where we're saving for a house, but you've already done it. So whenever you get ready to buy a house, you'll have 40 or however much more you add to that, not counting the fact that you're putting $15,000 aside. Because you're very frugal. You make a lot of money, but you're very frugal and careful with your money. You've done a great job. You are your parents' child. They did a great job saving money so you don't have debt.
Yes, exactly. That was my next question, to see if it would be smart to put the rest of that money into real estate.
Now, I think it'd be wonderful for your first property that you live in. And a 15-year fixed rate on the mortgage where the payment's no more than a fourth of your take-home pay. And there's no hurry. You could do that next year. You could do that in 2 years. You're 27. You've got time. You can do this. Don't panic. Everybody gets house fever, and that house fever causes your brain to quit working. And then you buy something you shouldn't buy, and you pay what you shouldn't pay. And then you call me up later and go, I can't believe I did that. Well, just don't get house fever. If you get house fever, take a long, cold shower. It'll wash it off. Just calm down. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Laura is with us. Hey, Laura, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. Welcome. Where do you live?
I am from Wyandotte, Michigan.
All right, and that is near Detroit.
Yep.
Perfect. Cool. Well, good to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
How much debt have you paid off?
I paid off $115,400.
Way to go. And how long did this take you?
33 months.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
I started at $72,000 and last year I made $86,000.
Cool. What do you do for a living?
I'm a physical therapist.
PT.
PT.
Hey, you're doing good for a PT out of the gate because you must have just started.
I did just start about 3 years ago.
So I'm guessing this is PT school.
It is. It's all student loans.
Every bit student loans.
Every bit.
And you knocked off $30,000 a year for 3 years, over $30,000, almost 40. Wow, good for you. I mean, you've been living on nothing.
Yep, absolutely. You can ask any family or friends. I showed up. Yep, I showed up. That's it.
All you've done is work.
Yep. Pretty much, yeah.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely.
How you feel now that you're free?
It is. It truly is a freedom. I think I didn't expect it. That as soon as I paid off my debt, I thought to myself, it wasn't that bad. And then I thought, what are you talking about? This took 33 months of basically just doing everything I had to do just to pay it off.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's been awesome.
You've been hitting it. I mean, you've been hitting it $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Is it steady like that, or did you have some big chunks or something? Anything happen?
It was pretty steady, but there was a time in my story of when I paid off about $8,000 from my emergency fund.
Okay.
So that was pretty helpful. But apart from that, it's just grinding.
How long you been out of school?
I've been out of school since December of 2017. So about 3 years, 3.5 years.
So you started almost immediately?
Yep, I started in March of 2018.
Okay. What prompted you to do this? Because most of your fellow graduates are still languishing deeply in debt.
Right, absolutely. They say that their student loans are like...
I hope Biden helps me instead of me helping me.
Absolutely. I have conversations like that all the time. But in March of 2018 was when I got my first job, and I knew that I wanted to pay off my debt, so I was just kind of throwing money at it, but I didn't really have a set plan. And that year, December, I also got another job in a hospital, just working as a physical therapist, so I was still... just throwing money at it, but didn't really have a set plan. And then in June of 2019, my mom had said, you know what, I really think you need to listen to Dave Ramsey. He has a lot of what you have to say. I
love your mom.
Yeah, she's great. She's here. But so she had just really encouraged me, you need to listen to him. You need to listen to him. He's got some good principles. So I said, okay, I will. I Googled you. I listened to a podcast, then another podcast, then another podcast. I bought the Total Money Makeover audiobook, and I listened to that.
And now you have an addiction.
Now it's really bad. I talk all the time, like, who wants to talk about budgets? So I had an EveryDollar budget app that I started using, and then I finally had said, okay, how long will this actually take me? And I had a set timeline. So then it was a matter of, okay, it was supposed to be March of 21. And so I was aiming towards that. And then in January of 2020, I had said that was when I gave the rest of my money from my emergency fund over to my loans, and finally had the courage to bring it down to $1,000. And then COVID hit in March, but I
immediately after you gave away your emergency fund,
so
the world's biggest emergency.
Yep. And
how did COVID affect you?
So it was pretty tough, I would say, the first few months for sure, because I'm from Michigan, so we got hit pretty hard. So I normally am in a clinic, but we had kind of lessened how much we would see patients. So they pulled me into the hospital because I had that other job. So I was able to still work, but I did see some things that were not that pleasant. I didn't get to work in the ICU or anything, but I was still in the hospital seeing patients. And it was a very trying time, absolutely. But I fortunately kept my job. And then I think it was maybe like May of 2020, and then I started delivering groceries because I couldn't pick up an extra shift at the hospital, and then I went back to my full-time job at the clinic. And then I think maybe June or July I was able to start picking up shifts again at the hospital, so I could work full-time and then work on the weekends. And by June I was like, okay, how can I
Game on.
Yeah, how can I pay off my debt as quickly as possible? And then I started recalculating because I was just obsessed with it. And then I realized that I could pay it off by the end of 2020. And I said, well, nobody's doing anything anyway. I'm literally missing out on nothing. So it actually gave me this motivation and this drive because it was something that kept me going, kept me moving. And then on the 3 years to the date that I graduated PT school, I paid my last loan off.
Wow.
Or the last little bit. So
Way to go.
Thank
I'm
you.
so proud of you.
Thank you. It's been
I know
awesome.
your mom's proud of you. Your dad's
Yep.
proud of you. They're with you, right?
Yep.
They came to cheer you on.
Yeah.
So you had good cheerleaders inside the family.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and they're here too. So
Yeah.
my mom, Rosangela, my stepdad, Scott. We just made a friend, Isabel, who actually just graduated college debt-free last Friday.
All
So we're giving
right.
her a little kudos too. But
Yeah.
the other big supporter was my now fiance, who his name
Yeah.
is Ethan, and he actually proposed to me the same month that I paid off my loans. So
Wow.
it was a good December.
Oh, that marks that month forever.
It was,
Yeah.
yes, huge.
That's amazing. So proud of
Yeah.
you. Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, you're so chipper and so happy, and
Yep.
you were in the medical field through COVID, and you
Yes.
got out of debt through COVID.
Yes.
What's the secret to getting out of debt?
I would say that it's worth it. And your student loans don't have to be your ball and chain. I try to talk to people about it all the time. I say, okay, don't let me get on my soapbox because then I just talk all these things, Dave Ramsey, but it is worth it. And you just got to find a goal and you got to set it. You got to know a timeline. So then that way you know what to work towards and then just race yourself to the finish line.
Yeah. If you can put a date down and actually have calculated it and it is logical, there's something about just marking it off then that keeps you going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's there versus someday I'd like to.
Right.
No, you'll never.
No.
You got to put a date certain on stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Thank you.
So good cheerleaders,
Yes.
and you're cheering a bunch of other people on because they can't shut you up.
Yeah, I know it's
I love
bad.
it.
And
I love
then
it.
I'll talk to Ethan all the time. Hey, so let's talk about our budget. What about this? What about this? So it's my new favorite thing to talk about.
I love it. Very, very cool. What does Ethan do for a living?
Ethan is a naval officer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell him thanks for his service.
I will.
And yeah, you guys are going to have a wonderful income with those two combined. That's going to be, and no debt. Wow, wow. Good future for you.
Yeah.
Excellent job. What was the hardest part of this for you?
I would say before COVID, it was more so about the not being able to spend the money, going to events, or people call me cheap pretty often, or I just call myself cheap. And so wanting to be able to do more things or spend more money. But I would actually say during COVID, it was pretty helpful just because of the chaos of everything and everything else was uncertain. But because I had this one goal, it was actually my driver. So something that was something I knew I wanted to do, but was still pretty hard to do, then became this is what I can focus on during
Because
2020.
medically, I mean, there's a level of fear around all of that in
Absolutely.
March of last
Absolutely.
year, and nobody knew what they were doing. Everybody's running around talking like they knew what they were doing, but we figured out why they call it practicing medicine. We watched that last year. They're practicing, and but it's and so for those of you in the actual industry on the front lines, it could be terrifying.
Yeah.
But you've got a reason then to step forward. Versus if you didn't have a reason going in there in the middle of that, man, that would be hard. Because to be motivated to step up and be front line, wow, that's tough. But that gave you a place to do it, and the net result is you were not really at risk.
Right.
The net result is that you were okay, and that a lot of our fears were overblown. It was a very serious situation, but still, it was a lot of drama around it. And so, well done.
Thank you.
Very, very, very well done.
Thank you.
Good for you. How old are you?
I'm going to be 29 on Saturday.
Hey, not even 30, and you got all of this done.
Yep.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I've got a copy of The Legacy Journey, which is the latest book I did on wealth, and that's where you're going.
Okay.
And then we've also got a copy of The Total Money Makeover for you to give away.
Absolutely. I've already got people in mind I'm going to give it to. So.
Perfect. Very perfect. All right, Laura from the Detroit, Michigan area, $115,000 paid off in 33 months, making 72 to 86. She did it during the pandemic. Shut up. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt free.
Yeah! Woohoo! That's fun. This is The Ramsey Show. Thank you for joining us, America. This is the Dave Ramsey. Oh, it's the Ramsey Show with Dave Ramsey today. Old habits are hard to break. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Silver's with us in Los Angeles. Hi, Silver. How are you?
Good. Bless beyond measure. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I have a lot of numbers to throw at you, but first things first, we own half.
Silver,
of the
I'm
house.
having trouble hearing you. You're a little bit muffled. Can you speak directly into your phone, please?
Oh, so sorry. Hold on. Is that any better?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So we are in a funky house situation. We were gifted half of a house. We are purchasing the other half. It was in a trust. So with the purchase, we have to owe the party the other half, obviously. When we first started, we just Zillow estimated the house was going to go for $500,000. We did a gift of equity, so we would pay her $250, and we did the loan for $260 because we do have a little bit of debt. We needed good faith money, so we didn't want to have to pay closing costs. So we just wrapped that into our original escrow numbers.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Now
You got to stop a second. I got confused. I apologize. You have a home that you live in that you're selling?
We are purchasing the other half. We currently live there, and we want to buy the entire house now.
Okay, so you own half, and who owns the other half?
A family member.
Okay, and you're buying them out.
Yes.
Is what you're doing. Okay, and you need $250,000 to do that.
Yes.
Okay, and so now I'm caught up. I apologize. I got lost there. And so you need $250,000, and what happened?
So the appraisal came back, because we did all of this on a guesstimation. The appraisal came back for less. So now we need to buy her out for $233.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to wrap in our closing costs, which is right around $10,000. So we were going to take the loan out for $243.
Okay.
We were approved for $260. Well, we were given the option that we could still take out that $260. So that's a $16,000 difference.
Mm-hmm.
Should we take out that for the full $260 and use that money to pay off debt and just kind of wrap it into our mortgage?
No.
Or should we just minimize to the $243?
Take the very minimum you can take.
Okay.
How much other debt do you have?
We have $38,000 in debt, but we have to have good faith money in the account while we're purchasing the house. So $10,000 of that, once the house is finished, is going to go straight towards the debt.
How much is in your account for good faith money?
A little over 10,000, but we also have, like that's just in our savings account. We have our emergency fund, and then we're just kind of slowly paying because we can't pay anything off until the house is purchased.
Yeah. You already have the house purchased. You just have to buy this person out. Now, do you have a mortgage on it currently?
No, the house has been paid off.
So
It's
it's
been in the
worth
family
it's
since
worth
the 60s.
$500,000, and you're putting $250,000 into it roughly, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm catching up. All right, but you have enough in your savings once this smoke all clears and the mortgage is closed to pay off all of your debt.
Most of our debt.
How much is in
So
your
the debt's
emergency
38.
fund?
We have, well, not counting the good faith money. So technically, altogether, we have 12,000 in our emergency fund.
So it's 10,000 and 2,000 because you mentioned 10,000 earlier.
Yes, 10,000 and 2,000.
Okay. All right. And so what we teach is the baby steps. And baby step 1 is $1,000. Anything beyond that, you would use to begin baby step 2 once you get this closing done and you don't have to have the good faith money laying there. And you do the baby step 2, which is take everything out except the 10,000 or except 1,000. So 11,000 is going to go towards the 38,000. What's the 38,000 in debt? What kind of debt?
2 cars.
And what's your household income?
A little over 110,000.
Okay. You got an awful lot tied up in cars, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
We realized that after. I
Yeah.
found you a little late.
Okay. All right. But if we take 11 off of 38, that puts us at 27. And with your income, you should plow through that 27 within a year and a half.
Okay.
And then you build your emergency fund, which is baby step 3, and you move on towards building wealth, with is 4, 5, and 6, and so on. And so that's what our system would lead you to do. And our system is first going to lead you out of debt so that you have control of your most powerful wealth building tool, which is your income, to build wealth. And so, we got to get rid of those car debt and get your emergency fund in place to lay a foundation as soon as you get this cleared up on the house. But no, you don't borrow your way out of debt on the mortgage. You don't finance your cars on a home mortgage, which is really what you're asking me in essence. No, I would not do that. Elizabeth is in Knoxville. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Oh, my gosh. I love you so much.
Well, thank you. You too. How can we help?
Okay, so I am currently working as a dietitian in a hospital, and I've only been here for 8 or 9 months. There was another position that came open very close to me, about 20 minutes down the road, and that is a significant difference. It's about $15,000 more if I apply for the job. I wasn't necessarily sure I would get it, but they did offer it to me, and it was about a $15,000 raise.
And you make how much?
Right now, I make $75,000.
Okay, and this would take you up to 90 from 75, if I heard you right.
Yes,
Okay, how old are you?
30.
Okay, you're single?
Yes.
Why would you not take the better paying job?
That's what I was thinking. Well, okay, so it's
Well,
It
something
is
gave you
Kentucky.
pause. Something made you hesitate. What was it?
because I didn't know if it would be.
Or you were just too lazy to go to work or something, that'd be bad. But you're getting a substantial raise, over $1,000 a month.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I do. Now I'm a little further away from Knoxville. I'm actually more like Harrogate, Tazewell area, if you know where that's at.
I sure do.
So the position, So the position is in Kentucky. So I would have to pay Tennessee and Kentucky license, and I haven't figured out if that would actually be worth the difference. But
And how far are you from the Kentucky line?
20 minutes.
Okay.
I live right in Harrogate.
Okay, you're right there. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I guess you need to find that piece of information out. Because if it's an extra $10,000, this is not nearly as appealing. With the extra commute, you're going to eat up the other $5,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, no, if it costs you $10,000 more in licensing, then we're not doing that. I don't know what those licenses cost. Do you?
Oh, just my Kentucky license?
Yeah.
No, I meant taxes, Dave.
Okay. Does Kentucky? I guess Kentucky has an income tax.
They do.
Tennessee does not. Okay. Well, it's not 100%.
No.
It's probably 5%. I don't know what it is, but it's not. Usually state income taxes, most of them like that, are 3 or 4 or 5%. So find out what it is and net it out.
Okay.
And so really what you're going to net is not $15,000. You're going to net $15,000 minus federal taxes, minus your Kentucky income tax, minus whatever extra transportation costs you have by commuting a little bit longer. So you're probably more like a $10,000 net, if that's what it sounds like to me. If you want to work there in that setting, it's going to be another $1,000 a month net still. So probably I'm looking at it, but it's just up to you. Don't make the decision 100% on money, though. It's quality of life. Do you want to make that drive? Is that a place you want to work? Is that a quality of people you want to work with? Is that particular hospital going to be a good fit for you? All of that. They didn't double your income. They offered you $15,000. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer for The Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section or head to theramseyshow.com. Thanks for listening.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. I'm flying solo today. Thank you for joining us here on The Ramsey Show. Good to have you guys. In the third hour, the next hour, we will be dealing with one of the scummiest industries in America today. Timeshares. Ugh. Gross. Filth. Trash and nastiness. Horrible reputation. Everyone starts shaking their head and laughing when you start talking about them. You guys are a joke in that business. You're a joke. And you're a nasty joke that has ripped a bunch of people off to the tune of billions of dollars. And it's time you stopped. So we're going to talk about you if you're timeshare scum. So get ready. Going to be next hour. If you have had experience with timeshare scum and it didn't turn out well for you and you want to talk about it, I'm going to give you just the place to do it right here. You can call us at 888-825-5225 for next hour's show, or you can email if you can't get through because the lines are jammed right now. Just go to DaveOnAir@RamseySolutions.com. Put Timeshare Scum in the subject line, and we'll give you a chance to talk and tell your story as to what happened and the time that they screwed you like they have half of America. So, there you go. Hope I wasn't unclear on how this is going to go down. It's not like this is an objective thing. I'm right, they're scum, and we're going to tell everybody. It's how it's going to work. Okay. So, Dave on Air at RamseySolutions.com. John starts off this hour in Toronto. Hey, John, what's up in your world?
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
So I'm 21 years old, just graduated from school.
Congratulations. What's your degree in?
Paramedicine.
Good. What are you going to be making?
So I just $40 an hour.
Good. Good for you.
Yeah. So thank you. I have about $21,000 in loans, about $7,000 in my savings, and the interest on the loans is only about $15 a month. So I'm kind of wondering, should I be dumping 90% of my paycheck into paying off my student loans, or kind of putting half on student loans and half in the savings account kind of thing.
And the savings account pays nothing.
It's just like a student savings account right now. So
nothing.
I would have to set up something better.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
And so we're going to not pay off the student loans because they don't charge a lot, and we're going to save money and make nothing.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So when you're 31, I think you're going to be really glad that I kicked your butt and told you to pay off your student loans immediately. Okay. Don't screw around with these things. And here's the thing. You're correct mathematically in that the interest is not that high. But there's another interest that you're paying, and it's the weight of them hanging around your neck that makes you even question the situation. You can feel the weight across the tops of your shoulders and runs down your back, and occasionally it manifests itself in a headache. Yeah, you have a physical reaction to debt. You have an emotional reaction to debt. You have a spiritual reaction to debt that has nothing to do with mathematics, but it does affect your life and the quality of your life. And you'll know that I'm right about this when you're free of it and you feel light and airy. And wow, I had no idea. This feels so nice. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. When a slave is set free, they are free indeed. So set yourself free, young man, as fast as you possibly can. That's what I would do. Aaron is with us in Denver. Hi, Aaron. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you, sir, for having me. Long-time listener. You've helped me get through a lot of stuff in the past, and hopefully you can help with the situation I'm in now.
Thanks. How can I help today?
Yeah, so 30 years old, me and my wife, we're looking at selling our house. As you know, the market here in Denver is pretty crazy. We've got some pretty solid equity in the house we have currently, upwards of $300,000. Looking to buy a new house, and we're given a couple options from the lender that we're working with, and one of them I'm extremely unfamiliar with. I've owned several houses, traditionally done just a fixed interest mortgage. They're offering me what's called an all-in-one loan, and I just was curious if you ever heard of that. Good, bad situation. What do you have to say?
I've not heard of it. It does sound like a brand particular to that lender. What does it entail?
So how they're marketing it is it's basically a savings account that the balance in the account reduces the interest by that amount. So, you know, we have about $50,000 in cash that we keep in the account at all times. So that would basically reduce the interest that's charged on the account. The thing I don't like about it is it's a variable interest rate. Right now it's around 3.5, versus I can get a 1.99 on a 15-year fixed. But it has potential to go up from there. It's kind of a sliding rate. So the math, they provided me a spreadsheet that said it'll save $50,000 over the life of the loan or something, something like that. But it's just kind of a new territory to me.
Yeah. If you put the $50,000 as an extra down payment on the house and you get out of debt that much faster, you're going to save a lot more than their spreadsheet gave you.
That's what I figured. I'm an engineer, so I'm pretty good with math, and I've tried to run a bunch of different scenarios, and it ends up being a wash, basically.
And here's the other thing. Here's the other part of that is there's a part of the math that's hard to put in there, and it's the analysis of risk. That the more debt you have on the house, obviously the higher your payment is, and so the more risk you have. The longer you're in debt, the more risk you have, and the higher the ratio of loan to value is, the higher your risk is. And that it's hard to put that to an actual math figure, but that's common sense. We know that to be true because you and I have walking around sense, right? We know that if I owe more money, I have more risk. Duh. So, but it's hard to actually put an actual dollar figure to that. The way we do see that play out in reality and where we can measure it is like when we did the Ramsey team did our Ramsey research study on millionaires, and we studied 10,000 millionaires. We didn't find a single one that used a technique like you're talking about to become wealthy. Not one.
Correct.
Instead, we found the typical millionaire. All the data tells us that the typical millionaire quickly gets out of debt. Average pays off their home in 11.2 years, which means that some do it sooner, some do it longer. But that was the average among the 10,000 millionaires. None of them were sitting around going, I'm going to figure out a way mathematically to borrow my own money back and pay a little higher interest rate on a variable, and spreadsheet says, and all this crap that they're telling you, right? with this product.
Right.
So this product stinks to high heaven, dude. Run from it. Bottom line. You knew it. You could feel it in your bones, but you hadn't been able to figure out a way to put a math number to it yet. But I just gave it to you. Data says don't do it. This is The Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Thank you for joining us, America. This is The Ramsey Show. We're glad you're here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. If you live like no one else, later you can live and give like no one else. There's a price to be paid for winning. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but it yields a harvest of righteousness. Our team is just giving away my best-selling stuff. I mean, this is crazy. Next to nothing almost. We are running an epic 2-day sale right now. Good gracious. That means you can get up to 80% off books, bundles, and envelopes and give a life-changing gift. Springtime, graduation season, wedding season, Father's Day is coming up, you name it. If you're already budgeting and you know the baby steps we want you to live and give like no one else, these sales are great opportunities to stock up on gifts for people that really need it. 2-day sale includes audiobooks starting at $5. Oh my gosh. The starter envelope system for budgeting, only $5. Bundles, lots of the bundles on the site, up to 80% off. And the Update Ramsey Plus Marriage Bundle, which includes now the Know Yourself Money Assessment, which we just launched 2 weeks ago. Man, these are deals. Use this opportunity to give and live like no one else. You may just change someone's entire life. And if you're trying to get out of debt, well, you can start right here. Shop this epic 2-day sale at RamseySolutions.com/store. RamseySolutions.com/store. Alex is with us in New York City. Hi, Alex. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Just a little background. I graduated college recently. I have a full-time job going, and I have minimal liabilities. It's a work-from-home situation, and I want to invest aggressively as early as I can. And I'm interested in investing in rental properties, but as you know, real estate in this region is, astronomical. So I was looking into out-of-state markets where, my money would be served, and, I have a better opportunity to pay all cash for these rentals, and I just kind of want to get your thoughts on that.
What do you make?
$70,000.
How old are you?
22.
Okay. And so how much do you have saved?
I have about $40,000 saved right now. I have a little bit of student loans, but I definitely plan to pay those off of the check very, very soon. So it's about $10,000 in student loans.
You live in Manhattan?
I live in the New York area, not in Manhattan.
Where do you live?
I live in Staten Island.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. I'm just trying to figure out how you was making it on 70 grand, dude. I mean, I kind of know that market. Yeah. So it's a good income, but it's a very expensive place to live, as you know, even Staten Island, but nowhere near like Manhattan. So, all right. Hey, no. Look, here's the problem. And I own a bunch of real estate, as you probably know, Alex, and I love real estate, as you probably know. And I've had really bad experiences with rental properties that I cannot lay my hands on. I need to be able to drive by them, look at them, and even if someone else is running them for me, you just make better decisions if they're within, shooting distance here where you can get to them. It just sets you up for a problem. And if you have a rental property that goes bad, it could set you back more than 3 of them going good could set you forward. And so that's the problem. Real estate requires, it's got a hassle factor to it as an investment. It requires involvement. And no, you cannot just stand back and watch someone else run it and it all work out. You can have a property manager, and there are some good property managers. But no one manages your stuff like you do. So you've got to look over the shoulder of the property manager to be sure that things are being done right and go, how much did we pay for that hot water heater? Say what? That kind of stuff. And you got to have, and when that's 3-4 hours away from you or 8 hours away from you or something, that just becomes very tenuous, and it sets you up for a high potential to have a bad experience in real estate rather than a good one. So I would tell you not to do that. I would tell you instead, let's just pile up our money and let's see where your career takes you and see where you end up landing, and let's just start investing. I would just use mutual funds at your age to begin to build it up. You don't have enough to buy it anyway today, so it doesn't matter. It's all theory at this point. Chris is in Houston. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. It's an honor to speak to you. Thanks for having me.
Sure. What's up?
Hey, my wife and I, our family, we're in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. We've got a fully funded emergency fund of $30,000, and the household that we live in has natural gas and electricity energy sources.
So does mine.
I keep getting letters in the mail from our natural gas provider stating that any pipelines that run exterior to the house, we would be responsible for 100% out of pocket for any repair or burst. And they're offering a plan for $8 a month that would supply up to an $8,000 policy coverage.
I bet they do.
I was wondering if that would be a good idea to do.
Absolutely not. That's horrible.
Okay, that's what I thought. But this is the first household that we've ever lived in with natural gas and electricity. So I just want to get your perspective.
Yeah, they're making $1 bazillion on that. They're making more on that crap than they are on gas. Oh my gosh.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So let me kind of here's how I'm answering that question with such emotion. Okay. In my life, which I'm old, I have owned over 2,000 pieces of real estate. Mm-hmm. Lots and lots of residential single-family homes are on that list. I used to buy property that was trashed, fix it up, and resell it in my 20s, and flip it. In all of those pieces of property, I have replaced plumbing, and lots of them. I've had septic tank problems with lots of them. I've had sewer lines running from the street that got busted up by roots from a tree growing next to them in lots of them. Lots of them. Not hundreds, but enough of them that I remember it happening a lot. Okay? I've bought houses that the wiring was bad in it. We had to strip it out and put all wiring back. Yeah. In all of those properties, and I'm in Middle Tennessee, and natural gas is very proper or very prevalent in Middle Tennessee. You'll see it in a lot of our homes. I have it in my personal home now. I have it in my lake house now. Okay, right here in Middle Tennessee. So it's natural gas is everywhere where I'm doing all these deals. The vast majority of these houses would have had natural gas in them. The number of times I have replaced a natural gas line from the street to the house out of all of those different experiences is 0.
Oh, wow. Okay. Beautiful.
So there's actually some data behind my going, no way! die, right?
Yeah.
So
that's what I thought too. But
I mean, I'd be
man,
more
you just
likely
read
to buy sewer line insurance than I would be gas line insurance, and they don't sell that I know of. So, yeah, that's interesting. God, what will they come up with next to sell people? Unbelievable. Hey, thanks for calling. That's very interesting. I appreciate that question. The first time I've ever had that question. I didn't even know they did that. That's wild. So here's a good rule to remember on insurance of all kinds, extended warranties of all kinds. Some insurance is insuring something that's so expensive that you cannot afford to fix it. Your house burning down. Your car being totaled. You die and your family loses your income. These are major, life-altering, huge, expensive things, and you do need to buy insurance for life insurance, homeowners insurance, car insurance to transfer the risk that you cannot afford to take. Small items, like a gas line from the street, like getting an extended warranty at Best Buy on your big screen. Give me a break. Which is a throwaway item anyway, by the way. So, no, you don't buy those insurances because that's where they make all their money. You only buy insurance on things that are large and that you need to transfer the risk that you can't afford to take the hit. That's a good rule of thumb right there. So the next time someone wants to do extended warranty, say, no thank you, and you can blame it on me. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones this hour at 888-825-5225 in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Tim and Shannon are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Great, Dave. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Where do you guys live?
Suburb of Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, wonderful. So good to have you. And how much have you paid off?
We've paid off $67,000, and that took about 10 months.
Good for you guys. And your range of income during that time?
Was $175,000.
Good. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a police officer.
Uh-huh.
And I work in HR.
All right. Very cool. What kind of debt was the $67,000?
A lot of normal stuff. We had some credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
There may have been an engagement ring in there.
Might have been.
Yep. And we had car loan and student loans.
Okay. It's kind of normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
How long you been married?
We got married the end of October.
Okay.
So, yeah, about 7 months almost.
So you were working on this before marriage?
We were.
We kept it separate. We followed the principles, everything, until we got married, and then we put it together, and Power became that.
And finished it up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Very good. So tell me the story. How did you get started on all this?
So I got to give a little shout out to my employer, the Village of Algonquin.
Mm-hmm.
COVID hit. Sat down with our chief of police. I'm the training supervisor for our law enforcement agency.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, let's bring Smart Dollar to the police officers.
Wow.
Yep.
Thank you.
So we instituted Smart Dollar, went strictly for them. And I had to go through the program first before I rolled it out to everybody else.
Sure.
So I did it. Loved it, fell in love, had never really heard from you before, and I did exactly what you said not to do. I went home and told Shannon, sit down, we're doing this. And tried to shove it down her throat, and that didn't go well. But
they taught you that in training school, did they?
They did. They did. So reeled back, though, we ended up going through Smart Dollar together.
Good.
And just fell in love. It all made sense. It all
Very
made sense.
cool.
We realized we were paycheck to paycheck. We made way too much money for that to happen.
Yeah. For those of you out there that don't know, Smart Dollar is our program that corporate America and some government agencies take in to make all of the financial peace stuff and all the every dollar stuff available to their team members. Like Costco has had their entire company go through it as an example, and obviously your wonderful police department went through it.
Yes.
So thank you guys very much for that. And it's called Smart Dollar. It's a different brand because it's in corporate America, and so that's why you don't always hear about it on the show. Very cool. All right, so Shannon, he comes in and screws this thing up. What did you do? You said, you got to be kidding me.
A little bit,
Yeah,
yes.
and then how did he finally get you back around after he screwed that up?
For me, it was once I understood more so the underlying reason why he wanted to shove it down my throat. I knew he was really, just trying to be caring. And as we were getting ready to prepare life as a married couple, I know oftentimes people struggle financially in marriages, and then that tends, So that was really important. So I know he came from a loving standpoint, so I think once I reframed why he was trying to shove it down my throat so much, made more sense. And I ended up purchasing the Total Money Makeover without him knowing. I know, I tried to take some initiative.
Wow.
And did some plastic surgery 48 hours after I binged your book. So,
wow.
Oh, yeah, cut it all up.
So when you get in, you got all the way in then.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
Once we got past that initial hurdle, then we're joining forces and going for it.
Exactly.
We were all in. Yes.
Very cool.
We drank the Kool-Aid.
Good. And you did it. I mean, you're professionals. You paid off $67,000 worth.
And in addition to that, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
we also cash flowed about additional $14,000 for our COVID wedding. And thank you. And to the other Ramsey personalities who said, why wait until, why push the wedding off because of COVID? So because of you guys, we actually got married a lot sooner than we anticipated. So,
good.
It was.
Yeah, so we cash flowed the wedding, we cash flowed part of a graduate degree. So that was all besides the 67. So we were really going after it for a while.
Yeah, you were. You make good money, but you were really you also made really good decisions.
Yeah, we were fortunate that we had a large shovel, but
the discipline still needed to be there.
Oh yeah, you got to be intentional just the same.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very cool. Very
100%.
cool. Well, so as an HR director now, you got to take Smart Dollar to your place, right?
Oh my gosh, I would love nothing more than to do that. We're still working on that, but one day, hopefully.
Sometimes it's a challenge. Yeah. Very cool, guys. Very cool. So you tell people the key to getting out of debt is what now?
For me, it was the budget. I am the nerd in the relationship. So, and that was one thing to where, we didn't spend anything, but I'm checking it every day. It's like something was going to change, but it didn't. To see the numbers, to see where everything added up, that really made sense. And
we nerds get comfort in numbers that don't change.
Correct. I knew I didn't spend anything yesterday, but I need to check it again today to make sure we're still good.
Exactly. I'm good with that.
Nothing happened, but it was the budget. But then it was just the why, and knowing that we were going into a young marriage, being on the same page. It was our counseling per se, our premarital counseling that's recommended by you, and just put it all together. It was like, hey, we're on the same page. We can do anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I think saying no is also probably one of the most challenging hurdles through this whole process. So learning to just, internally when to say no to yourself, that's probably the hardest piece that
it's a weird thing. It's very difficult when you do it, but it's very satisfying a day later.
100%.
It's the discipline that came along with it.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's journey was different, but COVID actually, our vice was eating out all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have that option up by us, so we saved a bunch of money there, and it was just one thing after the other, and it was snowballed into something beautiful.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And it's not saying no forever. It's saying no for a little while. Live like no one else, so that later you can live and give like no one else. Now you have no debt and you make a ton of money. What are you going to do next?
I know.
Well, just having been married, we have a family in the future. And, we've got lots of other plans, and really, we can do anything we want now.
Yeah. It's amazing where you are. This is very cool. Plus, you have this sense that we can do anything because you just did a big thing.
Yes.
During a very difficult time.
Correct.
Yeah.
You plowed through and knocked it out. Very cool. What was who were your biggest cheerleaders?
Each other, I know for a fact, we held each other accountable. That was huge. It's do we need to do this? Do we need to spend that? Well, no. Did you check the budget? So it started internally, and the reminders on the why helped. But then for me, at least, going to work every day, knowing everybody else was working the Smart Dollar program, some took it more serious than other, and I was also the one keeping track of everybody's progress in a sense, but that really helped. And as well, our other good friends that turned us on to you a while ago, Teddy and Stephanie Crawford back in Chicagoland area, they were the ones that had all the positive words of wisdom and everything throughout.
You got to have those.
Yes.
Have those. That's very cool. Yeah, so as the trainer, you were getting the overall report, not individual things, but you saw what the whole police department was
Correct. We don't
doing.
get into their, we don't get their finances or anything,
Right.
but it's the point system to know who's engaging, watching your lessons. The baby steps are obviously included, so we had people working those.
And you're seeing overall progress as a group.
Seeing overall progress. We're getting
yeah.
feedback, and that was a conversation we had with the chief and the village manager. Hey, did it work the first year? Do we want it again this year? And thumbs up across the board.
Oh, wow. Thanks. Very cool. I'm glad it worked. That's a big thing. And thanks for what you do. Excellent job, Tim and Shannon, Chicago, Illinois. We got a copy of The Legacy Journey, our latest book about wealth that I wrote anyway, latest book I wrote, and an extra copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away so you can pay it forward. So good stuff. Tim and Shannon, Chicago. $67,000 paid off in 10 months, making $175 between them. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
Yeah! That's how it's done. Boom! Man, how cool is that? The whole police department gets the whole thing going. New married couple gets it going. This is just good stuff right here. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome to The Ramsey Show. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Margie's with us in Seattle. Hi, Margie. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. How can I help?
We're on baby step 2, and my husband got served with a summons for bad debt. And so after talking to some debt relief attorneys, like 4 of them, they suggested bankruptcy.
Okay.
And we're about $34,000 in debt and credit cards, and we have like a $11,000 loan on our car, and about $100,000 worth of student loans combined.
Okay.
And
what's your household income?
About $28,000 a year. Yeah.
Okay. Who's not working?
Me.
Why?
My daughter is at home with COVID and everything, and my anxiety.
Your daughter is how old?
7.
Mm-hmm. And are you being treated for your anxiety?
Yes.
Okay. In what way?
Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let me give you a couple of facts that we can walk through, and then let's try to figure out how to help you, okay?
Okay.
Fact number 1, student loans are not bankruptable. Okay?
Yes, I know.
So after bankruptcy, you will still have $100,000 in student loan debt.
Yes.
Fact number 2, your household income is $28,000. Y'all are starving to death. And bankruptcy will not fix your income problems. Okay? So after bankruptcy, we get rid of credit card debt. And by the way, you don't have a car anymore, or you still have a car payment, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't give up the car, you still got the $11,000 in car. So really, when it gets down to it, if you're going to keep the car and reaffirm it, it's called in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, then you would have $33,000 in credit card debt is all you're bankrupting.
Yes.
And who served you? Which credit card?
The credit card was Credit One Bank.
Okay. And how much do you owe them?
$1,006.
Okay. All right. All right. The third fact is that debt relief attorneys are generally not debt relief attorneys. Generally, what they are is bankruptcy attorneys. And if you ask a bankruptcy attorney if you're bankrupt, that's like asking a dog if it's hungry.
Yeah.
So the advice you were getting from a quote-unquote professional was self-serving advice on their part. So these are the things that are disturbing me. So we're getting advice from people that are, want you to file bankruptcy because it's what they do. They're a hammer, so everything's a nail. If you're going to keep the car, we're not filing bankruptcy on very much. And really, $1,000 is all that's triggering this. And you have a household income of $28,000, which is less than half the annual income of the typical household in America.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not shaming you. I'm just saying you guys have an income issue. I've been there myself. 1 year in my life, I made $6,000, okay? So I know how it feels. It ain't no fun. What's your husband do for a living?
He works at a car dealership.
Doing what?
He's a porter. Driving cars.
Driving cars. 40 hours a week?
Well, on average right now, 33.
Yeah. And how old are you guys?
In our 40s.
Okay. All right. And so for me to help you have a good life a decade from now, I want to be able to paint a picture that gets rid of not only the immediate stress of this lawsuit, but also gets rid of $100,000 worth of student loan debt and allows you all to have the freedom. Can you imagine, can you even for a second wrap your brain around what it would feel like in your home if you guys made $60,000 a year and had no debt?
I can. I envision it.
Yeah, that's where I want you to go. And that's where my mind takes me on answering your question when I start gathering the pieces of information up. But there's a lot of things that are going to have to happen for us to live that dream together, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I am not a mental health professional, and I do know that anxiety is real, and I am not qualified to tell you when and if you can go back to work or what you could do. But I am qualified to tell you that your family needs income. And I am qualified to tell you that 33 hours a week is not enough to work when your family's this broke. Your husband needs to get 6 more jobs. Especially since the one he has kind of sucks. Is that me mean?
No. But I mean, it's a step up from where he was before. So
that's good. Then he needs to let's take 2 more steps up. Because he's in his 40s, and when he's in his 50s, I don't want him making $28,000 a year driving cars. Do you?
No.
Okay, then we have to intentionally take some steps up from here, and part of that's cleaning off this debt. Who's got these degrees with $100,000 worth of debt?
None of us.
What did you study?
I did accounting, and I transferred schools, so my credits didn't transfer, so I had to start all over, and so that's kind of made it difficult at one point. And
what was the last job that you had?
administrative assistant.
Okay. Have you ever done accounting as a vocation?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do?
As an administrative assistant, I did partial accounting.
You helped them keep the books?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay. Because you do know how to do it. You just didn't finish with the degree.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So there's a possibility you start doing accounting for some small businesses in the area as you're working for yourself and doing that from home where you can keep your anxiety low. Maybe.
Yeah. I've been looking for work from home.
Okay.
Careers.
Is it the going out thing that gives you anxiety? What gives you anxiety?
Well, a ton of things. But as for me getting a job, it's more of the I'm afraid of letting them down. Mm-hmm. Not being able to show up.
Okay. Understand. Oh, I see. So if you had an anxiety attack in the morning and weren't able to go to work, then you'd feel bad about letting them down and probably get fired eventually for doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Has that happened before?
Well, it's happened where I haven't been able to go out.
I know, but you lost your job as a result?
No. My anxiety came after.
I see.
After I stopped working.
Oh, after you stopped working.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. I don't know anything. I mean, Dr. John Deloney's not here to help me with this, so I'm kind of trying to channel my inner Dr. D here. But because I know that what you're facing is real. I do know that, and I'm not questioning that, but I'm trying to figure out a way to get you guys some income coming in. So I would prescribe, no, you're not bankrupt. Just ignore this lawsuit. They're not going to do anything. What are they going to do, garnish you his wages? He didn't make any money. They're not going to do anything. Just ignore them and move on. I would not file bankruptcy. I will put you guys into Ramsey Plus for a year. I'll pay for it. And let's put you into Financial Peace University, get you on a budget. But then your all's part of it is you've got to do some stuff to get your household income up or you're not going to make it. This is The Ramsey Show. Hold on.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even send clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We're going to spend this hour talking about the scummiest business in America today, the timeshare industry. Probably a close second would be payday lenders. And we could put another group of people or two in the list, but these are the scum of the scum. This is the lowest of the low. They feed on people. They take advantage of people. Basically, they screw you, the consumer. Everybody seems to know it, but for some reason, everybody keeps playing with the tiger. I don't know why you keep playing with the tiger. You go to the resort, and Diamond or Wyndham or Westgate or Marriott invites you for a free night on the beach, a free night in Vegas, a free night wherever, or two, but in return you have to give up 5 hours of your life in a timeshare meeting. If you leave the meeting 1 minute early before they give you permission to, you have to pay for your room, so everyone seems to endure it. But this is what you do. I don't understand why you do this, and so I'm going to try to convince you to stop doing this. You go into this meeting. This is like saying the zoo calls you up and says, "We will give you a 1-year pass to the zoo if you will spend an hour in the cage with the tiger petting it." But we need to warn you ahead of time that the tiger's not eaten in several days, and he's rather greedy. And so you go in and say, well, I'm the one that will be able to pet the tiger and not get eaten so that I can get a free pass to the zoo. It ain't worth it. Buy yourself a hotel room and don't go in the tiger cage. But you do. And then you spend $22,000, $14,000, $28,000, and you mortgage air because you don't own anything except access to their hotel room for a week, maybe, if you can get in. And then maybe you pay cash for it, which is even worse, because now you own air officially that's paid off. And you have and then you find out that they're going to raise your annual fees all the time. These people are straight up scum. This is a horrible product. 97% of the people that buy a timeshare don't like their timeshare. Wish they hadn't done it. Have regrets. Would like to get out of it. They think that the timeshare business like Diamond and Wyndham and Marriott and Westgate sucks. They think they screwed me. And they're a little bit ashamed to tell their friends that they got screwed by these people because they feel so dumb for going in the tiger cage. Because you go, all along I knew they were screwing me, but I just didn't have the wherewithal to say no enough times in 5 hours with the temperature cranked up to 82 degrees and they were waterboarding me. They put you in a torture chamber and won't let you out. I mean, you have to be like a BA to bust out of there, man. You got to be just arrogant and angry to get away from these people once you put yourself in one of those rooms. Consequently, the timeshare business has been sued and sued and sued and sued and sued and lost and lost and lost and lost and lost and lost. Catherine says in 2013 we were visiting the Cancun Resort in Las Vegas when we were told that Diamond Resorts, which has now been purchased by Hilton, had taken over the membership that we had in 2 different timeshare companies. We were asked to attend a meeting, again, where the sales staff told us that we needed to make a purchase so that we could continue to keep the equity we had already built up over the past 10 years. What equity? Timeshares are worthless, especially Diamonds. Since that meeting, we've been subjected to numerous update meetings where we've been pressured to the point where we felt we needed to make a purchase to be able to leave the room. Every time we told the staff we were already unhappy and that we could not afford to make another purchase, yet again they assured us that with the new purchase, all of our problems would be solved. We tried to solve this with Diamond and their representatives to no avail. We feel we have been continuously preyed upon by Diamond Resorts. Stay away. John says, last March we drove from our home in Michigan to Florida, but our reservations were canceled due to the pandemic. After that, we heard nothing. During the summer, we realized that the virus was continuing to be a problem and we would not feel comfortable to travel or stay in a resort. We began calling and writing letters to Wyndham, asking them to consider extending our VIP points into 2021 because of the unusual circumstances. On December 1st, we were finally informed that they would not, and our points would terminate at the end of the year. We were also reminded that we could not make guest reservations, meaning that we would have to use it personally. We have been cheated out of the 3rd year of our contract because of the pandemic, and Wyndham refused to recognize that the pandemic called for concessions. We were VIP members for 20 years. We now have a very negative impression of Wyndham and will never encourage anyone to deal with them in any way, even for a one-night hotel stay. Wyndham, by the way, is spending $100 million purchasing Travel and Leisure and are rebranding from Wyndham to Travel and Leisure. Now, Wyndham is a nationally known brand, internationally known brand, but they're going to do completely away with it. You know why? And they're spending $100 million to do away with this nationally known brand. Why? Because it has so much negative connotation attached to it now. Because they've screwed so many people. Why is this hard to figure out? Marriott's not far behind. Marriott Vacation Club salespeople are super trained used car salespeople. They tell you how easy it looks and how easy it is to book. Trust me, it's all fabrication. I could not book a week in October 11 months in advance. Costs? How about $20,000 for your week of timeshare? $750 for annual maintenance fees. $104 to trade week for points. $99 for interval membership. $84 to book your week. And oh yeah, $79 to cancel your week. After canceling, even due to death in immediate family, you have 60 days to use your week at a resort. Good luck with that, because you can't book it. Check the figures. Booking fancy hotels is much cheaper, and you don't have to stay a full week in the same location, and you get the week you want without booking a full year in advance. Stay away from Marriott Vacation Clubs. Trust me. Signed, a true sucker. These are actual posts on the internet right now in the last few weeks. If you've been screwed by the timeshare industry and you want to talk about it this hour, that's what we're going to do, baby. We want to expose these crooks for who they are. The phone number here is 888-825-5225, and you can't get out of them. They're almost impossible to get out of. Oh, well, we'll release them. Horse crap, you will not. Now you lied again. Unbelievable. You're not releasing anybody. You screwed them, and then you hold them and screw them over and over and over again. It's unbelievable. It's a shameful thing that you're doing, and you continue to do it. Diamond, Marriott, Wyndham, Westgate, the worst offenders. If you have an offender of another type, that's fine, or if you just want to talk about one of those that you've worked for and you quit because you got tired of screwing people, call me, 888-825-5225.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Talking about the timeshare industry today, one of the scummiest of all industries, multi-billion dollars, and boy, do they throw their dollars and their weight around. They try to crush anyone who comes against them. They've been having a fit with me, I can tell you that. And all they've done is just piss me off instead of silence me. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. If you have been a victim of timeshares, or you own a timeshare, or you used to work for them and you got tired of screwing people, so you got out of there and you want to tell what really goes on behind the scenes, we all know, but love to hear from you. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Hal's got a horror story. He's in Evansville. Hey, Hal, how are you?
I'm doing fine. You, Dave?
Good, man. Tell me your story.
Good. Well, we bought back in the early 90s at Westgate in Florida, and you talk about them strong-arming you into buying. It wasn't really like that for us. What they said made sense to us at first, and so we bought, and we used it once or twice every few years, and we decided it was time to get out of it.
What'd you pay for it?
Well, we tried, and nothing that we said to them worked. They said they just yes.
Hal, what'd you pay for it?
It was about $20,000.
Okay, and so you used it a couple of times every 2 or 3 years, and then after how many?
Tell Dave Ramsey it was one of the worst investments I ever made in my life.
And after how many years of using it a couple times every few years, did you want to get out?
Oh, after the first 5 years, we decided to try to get out of it.
So
and,
you had used it maybe 10 times?
No, not even that. Probably 5 times.
Okay, for $20,000. And you wanted to get out, and what happened?
Well, they said they do not buy them back. They suggested that I either try to rent it or give it away to someone, which is a joke too, because no people that have heard about them know that it's not a good investment, and you can't give them away.
Yeah.
And so
if you can't give it away, it's not an investment at all.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And there is no resale market for these at all.
None.
I mean, you can go online and look at what they are. Okay.
You
So
can't even sell them for $1 because people don't want to take over the dadgum fees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then about 3 years ago, they hit us with a $1,000 special assessment. I guess they're going to do some painting. And there's nothing you can do about that either. That's on top of what you're paying for maintenance and taxes every year. And so when about 3 years ago, when I was diagnosed with cancer for the second time, 2 weeks after my wife was diagnosed with cancer, I decided it was time to really start in earnest trying to get out of this thing. So I made some contacts and started networking with people who were sympathetic with my situation. And they referred me to an attorney who tried to help us as best she could. And I ended up on a witness list in a lawsuit that she was involved in. And that was really when Westgate took notice. When they saw my deposition and saw how damaging my testimony could be, out of the blue one day, they just called me and said, I hear you want to get out of your timeshare. Here, sign these documents and you're done. That's how I got out. I wish it was that easy for everybody, but it's not.
Wow.
But,
so you had to get their attention by punching them in the nose, in other words.
Pretty much.
So you call them up and go, I've got cancer, my wife's got cancer, and they said, toughies.
Exactly. Yeah. And it wasn't that easy because it took me sitting on hold for 30 minutes, waiting for someone to come online to even talk to me. And I wasted a lot of time on the phone, but it was worth it in the end because I did get out. But my poor dad has been dead for 12 years, and I still get a bill every year for his maintenance and taxes.
And I hope you don't pay that.
Oh no. But I called him and told him that he's deceased. His estate has been settled for 2 years, and they don't care. They just keep sending a bill, so I keep throwing it in the trash.
Yeah. So wow. So where was this property?
We bought in Orlando at it's Westgate. It was because it was at the West Gate of Disney.
Oh,
that's where it was named.
Oh, that's where the company was named, I bet. Huh?
Yes.
Because they've got them all over
then,
now. I mean, they screw people in lots of towns now.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And we're a little closer to Branson, Missouri, so we traded for another additional fee. They allowed us to trade to that property about 10 years ago. And so it was closer for us. We did use that one a little bit more because we could drive to that one. But it was still, we just didn't use it. And once we decided that we would much rather spend our time doing other things, and you're right, if you want to change locations, they'll let you do it for a fee. It's $150 to change, or even to change the week that you go. They'll nickel and dime you to death.
Yeah. And now $1,000 to paint it. Yeah, that comes up after you've already paid $22,000 for it and used it 5 times. Or 20,000.
That was probably the straw that broke the camel's back was when we got that special assessment.
So how in your wife's cancer, how y'all doing?
We're doing great.
So you both recovered?
Yes.
Good.
And like I said, I've had cancer twice and beat it both times. So praise the Lord for that one.
Amen. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're doing better. I'm sorry for your situation, but I appreciate you taking time and telling 22 million people Westgate will screw you, and even if you got cancer, they basically just hang up on you, and are not going to get out of it until you get involved in a lawsuit against them, and then suddenly they go, oh, you said you wanted out. Who knew? Which is exactly how all these guys act. It's the only way you get out is you have to pound their face in because they're absolute scum. Hope I haven't been unclear, you guys. All right, Sandy's with us in Hays, Kansas. Hey, Sandy, tell me your story about timeshares.
Well, hi, Dave. We were in Florida in 1999 with our daughter, who was actually cheering for Hays at a collegiate competition down there. And we were walking down the beach, and a man come up and offered us a place to have some free drinks and some stuff inside of the hotel, and offered the girls a free bicycle rental and everything. And so we went in and kind of got caught that way. We hadn't bought that day, even though we had made up our minds before we went in that we weren't. You know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up. The previous caller spent a lot more money than we did. We ended up buying in for only $6,000, but their way to get us to buy was by explaining to us that other people had to buy a week at a time, and this timeshare was done by points.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't ever buy a week. We didn't buy a specific time frame. We could go anytime, and they would buy it back from us anytime we wanted to get rid of it. And so
that wasn't in writing, was it?
No. Well, actually, it was. It was in writing. It was.
You're cutting in and out, honey. You're going to speak directly into your phone. Sandy, you're cutting in and out. You're going to speak directly into your phone.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So
You said it was in writing that they would buy it back?
Yes, it was in writing. And when we got ready to try to sell it back to them then, they explained to us that Sunterra had been bought out by Diamond, and Diamond didn't have an agreement, and so it was null and void. And I asked him, I said, well, so you can change the contract without even telling us? And
if you're
said,
Diamond,
yeah,
you can, because Diamond is God.
Now, it's exactly what they implied to us, that they were pretty much the end-all, be-all, and they even told us we asked them nicely to buy it back, thinking that was what we had signed up for. And the guy told us, he said, we will take you to court for the rest of your life. We will ruin your credit. We will take your home. We'll take everything. But you cannot get out of this. There's no way. And so we just kind of gave up for another year or so. And then I started seeing a lot of ads for it, and we were afraid to be scammed again. So we kind of just didn't do anything until I saw an ad for the Timeshare Exit Team, which had your name behind it. And
they got you out of it?
Very confident. You guys got us out of it, yes.
I'm not Timeshare Exit Team. Timeshare Exit Team got you out of it?
Well, yes, they did.
Awesome. That's cool. Well, at least you got loose from Diamond. That's like, man, that's like getting loose from a concentration camp. Talking about the out-of-control, multi-billion-dollar scummy timeshare industry, screwing people left and right and getting away with it, and nobody's in their face about it. They're buying off government officials, they're buying off media, they're buying off everything trying to do this. They've been after us trying to shut us up, and it's not going to work. As a matter of fact, you're getting quite the opposite reaction. I'm going to devote entire hours to pissing these people off, because now they piss me off, so it's a fair trade. This from Andrew about Diamond Resorts, which was just purchased by Hilton. The CEO is a guy named Mike Flasky. Now, Mikey, I call him. Mikey and I have been trading barbs. He calls me Davey on Twitter a time or two back and forth. He stood up in front of the ARDA, which is the Timeshare Association, and said he was going to pledge $1 million this year to putting any timeshare exit people out of business. How dare someone try to get out of their timeshare after we've screwed them? In other words, my wife and I were in Las Vegas when we were approached by Diamond Resorts representatives asking if we'd be interested in receiving free tickets to dinner and a show as a gift for our attendance to a 1 hour presentation. When we signed up, our yearly income did not meet their minimum, but the rep said, "Don't worry," which in hindsight should have been a huge red flag. No, honey. A 1 hour presentation for the timeshare company should have been a red flag because they're usually 8 hours. At the presentation, when the first offer was presented, we told them no way we could afford it. After 4 hours, there it is, of continuous better and one day only offers, we finally gave in. The employees led us to believe it would be an investment for us and our family. If you sell timeshares, by the way, you're scum. You should get a better job. You should not be involved in screwing people. And if you don't like me saying that, that's because you're scum. If you understand that I'm saying that, you need to start looking for a job today doing something that's honorable. The employees led us to believe this would be an investment for us and our family. The one time we've used this membership, we could not make reservations in Hawaii like we desired, and we ended up in Vegas. A little trade-off there. Both have sand. We forced us into a mandatory member presentation where we were talked into upgrading. Since the representative told us we could not refinance, or we could refinance with our bank at a lower rate, we relented. This is not possible. You can't refinance at your bank because you don't own anything. Now we're stuck with something we cannot afford, and Diamond will not help us. But if you're one of the few attorneys in America that will go and represent the consumer against the timeshare industry, they will come after you. They'll come after you, the attorney. Christian is on the line. He is in Orlando. He is an attorney, and he works with other attorneys who've been sued for trying to get people out of their timeshares. Is that right? Did I say that right?
You did. You got it, Dave. And thank you for everything you're doing.
What in the world? So you have people that are in the legal profession that are lawyers that sue a timeshare company to get people out of their contracts, to abide by their contracts in some cases, which lets people out, and then they turn around and sue the lawyer.
These timeshare companies...
I'm sorry, you cut out on me. You cut out on me. Try it again.
Sorry about that, Dave. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
These timeshare companies don't want lawyers talking to them about arbitration or resolving things. All they want is for timeshare owners to shut up and have annual maintenance fees doubled every year. And my clients are just lawyers who, they recognize that timeshare industry is the last legal fraud in America. And now they're being shaken down in federal court. The big guys, you said it. I mean, they're weaponizing the courts to shake down lawyers who help people get out of the last legal fraud in America. It's shocking.
Wow. And so you turn around and rep your client or other attorneys who were trying to get people out.
That's right. I represent.
How has that gone? How many of these cases have you done, and what's your success rate?
I currently have probably 15 cases going on in state and federal court. Most of these cases haven't resolved. We haven't even gotten to a trial. You know why we haven't gotten to a trial, Dave?
Because they want to beat you to death financially.
Boom. You got it.
They want to drag out the billable hours until you dry up and die.
They want to make these guys spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars defending themselves. The insurance companies don't want to pick up the tab, and so they force them out of business through litigation, and it's sham litigation. They're not investigating these lawyers ahead of time to see if they're good or bad. My guys in Missouri, they just have these salacious allegations, and it puts them out of business.
Yep.
But Dave,
they lose their law practice because they can't afford to continue to defend themselves against this company who has infinitely deep pockets. Oh, by the way, their pockets were lined by people they screwed.
Right, and they're desperate to keep them lined. My clients are just folks who they haven't given up yet. They haven't given up. They're not settling. They keep going. In fact, we filed a counterclaim against Wyndham and Blue Green for antitrust. And this morning, we asked a judge to enjoin these guys from continuing any other lawsuits against my client until we resolve whether the ARDA and their buddies, Wyndham, Diamond, Blue Green, did a concerted conspiracy antitrust designed to make themselves stronger and to screw the consumers. We think that's exactly what they've done.
They announced it from the stage. Mike Flaskey, as the CEO of Diamond, announced that he was putting up $1 million and challenged the other people in the ARDA to come together and collude to run Exeter's out of business.
And if the FTC isn't going to look at it, that means we have to. So that's what we're doing.
Wow. I'm a little shocked. I have a huge respect for federal judges, and I'm a little shocked they're tolerating this in their courts.
Dave, I don't think they are. You know, although they started this antitrust stuff probably about 2 or 3 years ago, like really going at it. But I've noticed in the last 6 months, these federal judges, like you said, they're sharp, and the tide is turning. You can tell. There's little orders that are coming out. Like I told you, none of these have really been resolved yet. But the little orders that are coming out, they're starting to note that the dockets are being flooded with these cases that seem to go on forever and ever. And in the few cases that have had a summary judgment granted or something like that, it's usually in the favor of the good guys. So I think
But that's after they've dropped $200,000 that they didn't have in legal fees into the thing. The good guys.
You're right. And so it's going to take someone, maybe my clients, maybe someone else, to give them a bloody nose and show them that this frivolous litigation can't stand. And I think we will.
Yeah. Well, they've come after us now, and that was a mistake because I have deep enough pockets to fight them. And I have 22 million listeners, and I'm going to beat the snot out of them.
Picking on you wouldn't be my idea of a good time.
Well, they did, and it was a mistake. They sent Inside Edition to do an ambush in the lobby of the hotel where we were doing an event last week, and Mary Guerrero and Charlie McKelvey come in there, which are known for their intelligence anyway, but they do one of these ambush interviews. Mr. Ramsey, why are you endorsing Timeshare Exit Team? Mr. Ramsey, and ambush me in the front of the dadgum lobby of this hotel. But there's no way Inside Edition does that without these bozos causing it.
Yeah, right.
Because Inside Edition's not that smart to start with. Mary's not that smart for sure. Okay? I mean, she's not known for her brains. She's known for other stuff. But, oh my gosh, y'all, this is what's going on out there. Yeah, so I get you're going to see me on a duck and cover in one of these dadgum Inside Edition things coming up this weekend, probably. But unbelievable. Hey, man, thank you for calling. Thanks for talking to us. I'm going to tell you guys a story in this next segment. It's going to blow your minds. It goes right with what Christian's saying. This is The Ramsey Show. We're talking about the scummy and multi-billion-dollar timeshare industry who flexes its muscle against anyone who dares say that they're screwing people the way they are. So I've been dealing with anything that causes you guys grief for 30 years here on the radio. And if we find something that gives you grief, we try to help you with it. If term life insurance is the way to go, we try to find a term insurance provider for you. If getting a high-quality real estate agent is a good thing, we try to do that for you. We do not endorse things on this show unless we believe in them. I don't put my name or my voice on something merely for money. And the most successful endorsements that we've done on this show are things that have to do with a problem you have, and we connect you with someone that is an advertiser to solve that. One of the biggest problems we've run into over the years is people that are stuck in timeshares. You can't give them away. Nobody wants them. You can't sell them even for $1 because nobody wants to take over your fees and your increased fees and all the hassles and all the screw-ups that we've been hearing about this entire hour. So many years ago, a couple of young guys started a company called Timeshare Exit Team, and they were advertising on a small radio station or two here or there, and they got in touch with us and said, we want to come on the Dave Ramsey Show because you hate timeshares as much as we do, and we have a way to get people out of timeshares. We have a legal process with a team of lawyers to bust up into these guys and to get them out. And so we said, all right, let's do that. However, you guys are small operators, and you need to understand when we tell people to come to you, you're going to get a bunch of business, and you're going to have to get your business act together. To say that their business exploded when I came on the air and told people Timeshare Exit Team will get you out is an understatement. Their business skyrocketed over the next few years, resulting in them getting more than 20,000, almost 25,000 people out of their timeshares. But the problem was they were so successful that two things happened. One is they're two young guys running a business, and it's hard to scale a business that fast, and they got where they weren't returning calls that great, so we're jumping on them because we're hearing complaints because Timeshare won't call us back from the customer. That's not okay, and it was just because of sheer volume of business. The second thing that happened was that they were so successful that the timeshare companies, they were feeling the pain. It was hurting them. And so Mike Flaskey, the CEO of Diamond, which has just recently been bought by Hilton, Wyndham, Mike Flaskey stands up in front of the ARDA and says, I'm going to commit $1 million to putting timeshare exit companies out of business. Anyone who comes at us to make us let our customers go that we're screwing, we're going to put them out of business. We're going to do it with legal fees. We're going to do it with PR and publicity. We're hiring a publicity firm. We're going to put a team of lawyers on this. And he teamed up with Wyndham, and he teamed up with Blue Green, and Diamond did, and Marriott, and whoever else they could get, Westgate, whoever else they could get on the list. And they decided to go after these lawyers and different companies that were running people out of timeshares. And they've gotten bad stories written about people, including they're going after me now. They've gotten the Attorney General in the state of Washington to try to prove that there was something false going on, and there wasn't. And Timeshare Exit Team, although hugely successful over the years, has legal fees in the millions and millions of dollars now trying to defend themselves against this company, and they've run out of they're running out of money. And so they had to pull off of our show. They couldn't afford to advertise anymore. They run them out of business. They're running them out of business. They're not out of business yet, but they're having to defend themselves against the Attorney General of the state of Washington. They're having to defend themselves against a massive set of lawsuits brought time and time and time and time again. And all they have done is get people out of timeshares. That's all they've done. And so that's why you don't hear them on the air here anymore. And then Inside Edition shows up and ambushes me for an interview and wants to know why I endorse Timeshare Exit Team, Lisa Guerrera and Charlie. Well, Lisa Guerrera and Charlie, even though I didn't grant you an interview in your ambush in the lobby of the Omni at the Dallas, that was so low class, you two. You ought to know better than that. You don't think I'm going to come back and put 22 million people on notice how scummy you are at Inside Edition? That was so low class. So I'll answer your question. Why did I endorse Timeshare Exit Team? Because they were doing the right thing and getting people out of timeshares after companies like Mikey's had screwed them. That's why I endorsed that company, and I did it with great pride. And they got over 20,000 people out of their timeshares before the legal fees and the bogus stuff from bogus government officials. I wonder how much he was paid. Wow. How much were you paid, Lisa? How much was Inside Edition paid by the timeshare companies? How much did they pay you? I didn't know you could buy a story on Inside Edition. I didn't think you all were that. I knew you were tabloid, but I didn't know you were that low. Or are you just so dumb that you didn't understand you were on the wrong side of this argument on the basis of the consumer? So this is why Timeshare is not on the air anymore. Timeshare Exit Team. But guess who's still on the air? Me. Me. And I'm sitting in a $300 million paid-for building. Neck deep in cash, you jerks. Bring it. Bring it, Mikey. Bring it. You have done poked the wrong bear. You done pissed off the wrong hillbilly. You have messed with me enough that I am coming after you, bozos, and I'm going to make a hobby out of you guys. And you don't understand how hillbillies work. We fight generationally. Ask the Hatfields and McCoys. They don't even remember why they're fighting, and they're still fighting. So, Diamond Resorts, Hilton, you made a huge mistake investing in Diamond, because I'm about to destroy your freaking investment if I have anything to do with it at all. I'm going to tell millions, tens of millions of people over and over and over and over again how bad Mike Flaschke is as a CEO, how scummy he is, and how these companies absolutely are screwing the consumer over and over and over and over and over again. If any of you Dave Ramsey listeners go into a Diamond presentation after hearing this, I got to call you stupid. If any of you Dave Ramsey listeners go into a Westgate presentation after hearing this and you walk into the tiger's cage in order to get a free pass to the zoo and pet the tiger, hoping the tiger won't eat you, you're stupid. Well, I'm getting a free hotel. Buy your own hotel. Buy your own hotel. Did you hear the guy called in the first segment? $22,000 he invested and used the thing 6 times. That's a nice hotel. Where are you staying? My God, the Four Seasons in Paris, France? I mean, you can rent out the dadgum. Come on, people. Think. Think. Don't be stupid rednecks and fall for these people. Don't be stupid. These companies are straight up evil. They are sucking the lifeblood out of America's families, and we have got to stop them from doing it. And the only way to stop them is not legally. They got too much power because they're buying off lawyers or running lawyers. You heard that guy? They're running lawyers out of business. Unbelievable. The guy's having to shut down his legal practice because he's overwhelmed with court costs and legal fees to protect himself because he was acting as an attorney to get people out. 15 cases that guy's got right now, and that's just one guy. You know how hard it was for us to find him? We found him in 24 hours, Lisa. It wasn't hard to do a little investigative reporting and actually find out what's really going on in this industry. If you were a real reporter, oh my gosh, this is not hard, you guys. This is not hard. When something feels slimy, you know why? 'Cause it's slimy. So, Diamond, Westgate, Wyndham, Marriott, Blue Green. Who am I leaving out here? I don't want to leave anybody out. Just let you guys know, you've been hassling my butt for 2 years behind the scenes, and we just made it public. Game on, boys. Game on. This is The Ramsey Show. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.